there, welcome to Lunch and Learn. My name is Sin. Do we have any questions for us? Okay, since we don't have any questions, I can do a little showcase. We can do something where we can try to embed decisions form onto an external website. Won't have the website host anywhere. It'll just be a file on my system. Give me a second so I can change my share. I realized that I was on mute. Okay. So we're going to just create a new folder. This will be our Learn folder. I'll just be creating a flow here, which will be to a form that I will display externally. Add a step here. Let's create a new form. Okay. We'll get to this designer. We'll add a button. This will be done. I changed this really quickly. Add a little label. Okay. And then let's just add a text box. This is a super simple form. Let's connect this and save. I'll need to configure this as a user interface. And then when we hit view, that's when we're able to see the details that we would need to embed in our form. So currently, I have this website right here where I had previously tested with, this is just a little external form that I created with HTML. Doesn't really have anything. right now, it's trying to embed a different form. Actually going to open this in my notepad. Give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry for the formatting, but this is the URL that it's using. It's for a different decisions form. So what we would want to do is copy this URL, but first, let me change it from login to using a current session. That. And put it here. I would expect it to not load if we open the DevTools actually and refresh. We can see that it's refusing. If we look over in the cookies over here, you can see that it has been blocked for several reasons. We don't have any custom headers allowing our decisions instance to display this form somewhere else, but we also have an issue of our cookies, where if you hover, it says this cookie is set to lax. In order to embed a decisions flow into an external website, we would need to allow 3 things. We would need our decisions to be running on SSL, which you can see right here. It's using my.decisions.party.com. We would need to change the same site cookies to use none. That will allow cookies from logging into decisions to populate onto the external form, so you wouldn't get a login screen. And we would also need to add in custom headers into the settings.xml. And that's the part that I'm about to do. So right here, I have my settings.xml pulled up. We need to go to the custom headers. Okay. Looks like we don't have any. So let's add that in. I already have it pre-typed. What we're adding is this will be custom headers. It's creating a custom header for content security policy where we're using frame ancestors to self. This one is specifically for the file system because I don't have mine published anywhere. As you can see up here, it's just a file. Okay. And then I would also need to find same site cookies, default same site cookies instead of lax. I'm going to change this to none. And then save. So do that. Since I have a self-hosted decisions, I will need to find my decision server and services and restart to apply the changes. Okay, looks like the website's back up. So now I'm gonna empty cache and hard refresh. Now that we've done that, I did not size this properly, but we now have our decisions form embedded. This is the form I'm trying to embed. This is my label for my text box. I did not size mine properly, but that's an easy fix. I'm gonna do a quick refresh. You will notice that with this embedded, you can see when you click on these URLs, you can see that inside of the headers, the content security policy that we just added will show up here. Currently, there isn't a way to restart servers if you're hosted by us. We would have to restart it for you. You would just need to submit a support request for it. And if you give us a downtime, we can restart it within that downtime. Sorry, that was a very quick overview on this, but are there any other questions besides Nika's in the chat? I'm going to just edit this so it's a bigger width. We're just gonna go with 2000. Let me take my cache and hard restart. Or you can just not do that. That's okay. This one's more of a beautification thing. A easy way if your lines are really messed up and you want to beautify them quickly, we can use the align buttons. This will align them vertically. We'll put this in line. And then if we distribute it horizontally, this will move everything so it's aligned evenly. Since we have a bit of time, we can try using what are called active form flows within V7. They've been out for a little bit, but this one will be with the function of a visibility rule, which is what the older versions of decisions use. So let me make some quick grids real quick. to change the color of this just to make it easier to see. Okay, we're going to change this to green. Actually, since we don't need these anymore, I'm going to delete both of these. We can make a horizontal stack, actually. One second, let me resize this form. I don't really like the sizing right now. So we're going to add a horizontal stack. I'm going to have 2 grids in it, and I'm going to hide one just to show the horizontal stack moving the grid and realigning everything. Okay. So we have our horizontal stack. Let's make 2 grids now. My show grid. You get the colors. I'm going to change this to pink. Let's add another grid inside of our stack. This will be the high grid. And change this to color. Let's make this green. Quick confirmation. Okay, this is my horizontal stack, and I have my 2 grids. Just to make it more official, let's add some labels on these. So the show me grid. This bold. Center line it. And this will be the hide me grid. Grid layout. Fit children to make sure both of them open. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to click out into the checkered spots, and we're going to add a new active form flow. Oh, actually, I forgot about an event button. We would need to tie the active form flow to a button. So for this one, we're just going to call it, we'll leave it as an event button. Text will be shown. Okay, now we're going to create an active form flow. It'll be show and hide a hide grid layout. This will be tied to the click of this button. And we're going to edit the rule. Side of this, there are really basic true false rules. So let's see if I can fish one. Value is true. We're going to use the Boolean value on the hide grid layout. If it's visible, if it's currently visible, then we're going to go to the form rules. These are all the rules that you would use in active form flows. If it's visible, we're going to hide the control. And if it is not visible, we're going to show it. With that, you should see the grids moving because you're showing and hiding this one based off of if it's visible or not. As you can see here. It's a very quick tutorial, but are there any questions on it? Are you trying to change what the list would be, like the contents of a list? The question was, how would you do that for a drop-down list on a selection change? You can definitely do that. Let me see. We save that. This one is just called a combo box. So let's go back into our role. I'm going to change it. So there is a step, I'm trying to remember what it's called. One of the string steps. There is a step, but I don't remember what it is right now, where you can have a list of strings and based off of that string, it will branch out different paths. I can't remember what it's called right now. I'm just going to use two contains ones right now because I cannot remember that step. Apologies. Okay. Let me just duplicate this tab and make my life easier. Let's simplify it and just have show and hide. But we know we're trying to show and hide this grid layout. Go back into this flow real quick. So we're not going to make a case sensitive if the containing text is show from the source. Data combo box in the selected item. Okay. If show is selected, then we're going to show the control. And if it's not selected, which means other item selected, it will hide the item. Let's try with that logic. And instead of that, we're going to use on the section change trigger here. Okay, we're going to hide it. Now it's hidden. Now we're going to show it. Now it's showing. No problems. Are there any other questions that we have that we can put in the chat? I'll give you guys a few seconds for that. Okay, it doesn't seem like we have any more questions. I'll be ending Lunch and Learn here. Have a good day, everyone.